This is who the fuck we are, and fuck everybody else. Fuck the world and everybody in it. That's the higher shit. That's your chthonic deities. That's who we are. We have nothing in relationship to these punk ass motherfuckers up here, because that's who we're gonna kick in the goddamn ass. Fuck them. Fuck them motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying?
Seems like we just pawns in a big game.
Yeah, it is pawns in a big game to the gods that was ruling over us. If we don't recognize that we are our own source and our own energy and our own realm of existence, also too. You see what I'm saying? When you know something, you got one up. That's what the whole thing is about.
So in this, I feel like if I know something, it's like I want everybody else to know it around me.
Yeah, that's the burden. That's called a suffering Messiah. Once you come in a certain amount of knowledge, you will find out that even although you want to give it to them,
they don't want it, right?
they don't want it. They'll fight tooth and nail, and you'll be ostracized. And that's just the suffering Messiah. That's what it means.
Well, I've already gone through that.
Yeah.
They'll say you crazy.
Yeah, you crazy. You see what I'm saying? They'll say you crazy. It's just like one time I was in a lecture one day, and I was doing all this, girls and bust, I started crying and shit. And I said, well, what's wrong? What you crying about and stuff? And she was like, we had an aunt that she used to tell us all this stuff. She was psychic, she would tell us all this stuff, and we used to say she was crazy. To the point, we realized so much about being crazy until she did go crazy. Because she didn't have no support. And she said, now come and find out all this shit was true and the woman was right. Yeah, so that's it. So she broke out crying and all, because she knew that they were the ones that sent this woman crazy. You see what I'm saying?
But don't a lot of people call you crazy?
Basically not behind, if it is, it's behind my back. Because most of the people I speak to is conscious. You know what I'm saying? I learned a while back and stuff, not that I don't say nothing to the damn dead. I mean, yeah, God is good and Jesus is I let them have whatever they trying to have. You know what I'm saying? I don't say nothing to the dead. So you ain't got to worry about it. I'm incognito to them. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I learned a long time ago, since I've been in it a while, I either do that or I'd really be crazy trying to talk to a brick wall. So now the dead, shoot. I let the dogs lie with it. What they say is let the dead dogs lie with it. Whatever. I let the dead lie with the dead. Don't cast pearls of swine.
The more knowledge and power that you get, you find out that's how much you don't know is so much that you don't know.
I used to think that and all, but it's interesting. Every time I say, I think I got it all, that's when a whole other door opens up. Because it might not necessarily be the data, it might be the whole new twist on something where you have been perceiving it. That's what makes it infinity. You can get all the data, you can stack the data and pile it all up and memorize it. But it's a whole new twist on things that you have, and that's what's amazing about this, what you call it and all. That's what's amazing about it. You see.
Have you ever had a sensation of having all the answers and having trouble finding questions for the answers?
Well, what I'm doing now, what is really great about what I'm doing now is I'll come up with concepts, and it might be months later I'll find it in the damn book. You see what I'm saying? And that's what you see people else say he did that. He said he's sitting out in the sun when then all this shit just started coming to him. He was breaking codes and stuff like that, all this stuff start coming to him and all. So, and then I'll look up and I'll find the same stuff in some books a month, maybe a year later. Right? And that lets you know that this is not, it's inside of you. And you just basically cleaving away and drawing it out. And that's what the dragon slaying thing is also too. Well, my whole thing with the whole melanin thing is, my whole thing with which I was at the last Melanin conference in '94, and my whole thing with the way he approached it, it was still that the way it was in '94 was that we always look at melanin from a physiological and a medical view, and melanin is a lot more than that. So my point is it's a lot more than that. It's more. The real mystery to open up with the whole melanin is on the spiritual process. And when I was there the last time, they had all these medical doctors, they can't tell you shit about it other than some diet. You see what I'm saying? Because they're talking about the physiological aspect. Whereas melanin is an occult science, which is a hidden science. The word occult itself means melanin, occultum, which means hidden arts. So my point is, now Richard King knows that particular aspect, and he's dealt with that particular aspect on it from the comedic perspective and all. It's just that my whole thing is at this particular point, not unless they have taken this thing further, and basically, that's what I've been doing, and I'm not trying to jack my own horn, but I see this particular thing. You see what I'm saying? Because I saw the last one, and it was basically a bunch of medical doctors and stuff, and the only thing that they could get is they couldn't get no further than the physiological body and diet. But as far as the spiritual aspect, those particular avenues, not unless it's manifested beyond that, no, I mean it's futile. You know what I'm saying? To even discuss that particular part now, because I mean, you know what I'm saying? We are at the stage where we're talking about this thing actually freeing us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that has to be a spiritual address. So the question I would ask is to just ask, what is the spiritual aspect of that now, and see what the response would be also too. You see what I'm saying? I can say that I've done the last 4 years of what I call occult melanin, and basically that's what I'm bringing you, which is the study of alchemy. You see what I'm saying? And you got to realize the medical profession as well as the whole educational professional starts with a byproduct of something greater. And we are fooled into thinking that is the real essence behind it. So when we say we must do research, remember we're only researching the byproduct of greater ancient mysteries of Hemmitt, which the secret societies have synthesized and given the whole field of education a byproduct, the secondary level, in which we're calling advanced education. You see what I'm saying? Advanced education. So if it pretty much don't get off the physiological level, it's futile to me to talk about something that is more of a spiritual substance than it is a physiological substance. When we talk about it on the physiological level, we only talk about its byproduct level. Melanin is a byproduct of carbon, which is the basis of the entire backdrop of blackness of space and all, inner or outer. So and we talk about the spiritual aspect of it and all. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if it pretty much is going to stay in the physiological healthcare field of diet, it's futile. What, you got to help your body so the cracker can still tell your ass to go to work and chain whip your ass? You know? I think what it is we missing the point because we're looking for numbers. And that's where we trained in this society. And in this society, generally, we look for numbers. Because the Christian church trained us to go for converts. And so it's not that you talk and stuff, but look for the quality of the ones and the twos. You see, that's more important. 1 or 2 people. It doesn't matter about, you know, I mean, if you got a whole city and you get 4 or 5 people in a house with the same mind and stuff, man, that's some energy. You know what I'm saying? You know, because the other thing is just basically going to be a spectators type level. You know, too many people are not going to have the same ideas and stuff like that. And we're not saying that we all should, but I'm trying to say here, what I'm talking about on this level, it cannot be this mass appeal like we think it is. You see what I'm saying? I like to think of this. People are generally animals. That's what Akasha was trying to say. The hell with them because they don't know.
That's right.
On the movie today. She was like, oh, the hell, I kill all of them because they don't know. Ultimately, they don't know, and basically, they don't want to know. And people are generally animals in the aspect that we never get off the survival level. And why is that? No, because said even the earth told her there wasn't supposed to be that many people on the earth. Even when we had these ancient civilizations, you looking like you got China. These people unscrewed so much until their breast is emaciated. You hardly find even something like the human breast and no behind. And even the penises, they said that the penises are almost like this. That's because you got 1 billion people in Red China alone. So obviously they have depleted their genetic pool down to just, where even the government had to step in and say, if you have more than 3 kids, you go into jail. So you're just talking about literally on the level of roaches. You see what I'm saying? And so even if you say you would get a certain amount of people up to a certain standard, you understand what I'm saying? If you still having problems, it's just like Maynard Jackson when he was mayor down in Atlanta. He said he used to get he gets something like 1,000 jobs. And he announced, Monday morning, I'm gonna give black people 1,000 jobs. These black people would get on the phone to their people, and people would come overnight. He said, no, he'd have to sneak it. He said, look, I'm gonna give 1,000 jobs away in the morning. These black people would go home at 6 o'clock, call people from around the country. Even if these people had to give $1,000 just to get here, or get on a bus, he said when he wake up the next morning, they'd had an unemployment problem. Because that many people would have come in overnight. He said they have people coming as far as from doggone California, you see, just to get them jobs. And so he said the next morning, by the end of 6 o'clock the next day, they got the same unemployment problem. Because that many people moved in. So we talking about filling up a bucket with a hole in it. Then it means ultimately, just like any other major religion say, you must destroy this thing. And that's what this whole thing is about. And basically, you can't find no religion or nothing, no spiritual thing that ultimately they talk about something has to be overhauled. Humanity has to redo itself. So, has to redo itself.